much kind of heat is there in the consumer wallet to be traveling with these kinds of prices, given kind of strains on their wallet right now?
I think we're still recovering from COVID, and the need to get out of the house to see the world is intense, and prices are absolutely high. We are seeing very expensive travel, and yet we're almost at the peak of 2019, right before the pandemic. And so part of the reason we're seeing so much success, so much pickup in the travel industry is the airlines cannot do enough to bring all these people chance to travel, but it is expensive. And so being able to afford it, and with Affirm, without late fees, without gimmicks, without tricks, is a really powerful sales pitch. And so we're excited to partner.
I have about the airlines as well, because if you think about it, the credit card companies just reported earnings. They're extending loans like crazy. The consumer looks a little stretched when you look at how much debt they've taken out. There's a question about whether they'll hit a cliff at the end of this year. So how much can they really buy now, pay later, even more, to fund things that they want to do? Go out and buy luxury goods and to take an airplane to Europe.
I think fundamentally, consumers will borrow to meet their goals. And my job is to provide a viable, transparent, and fundamentally better alternative than credit cards. If you see the growth of buy now, pay later, you can see that we are making a real dent in taking over more and more of the consumer spend. We are absolutely not adding to it in terms of incremental debt that is unsustainable as Affirm. Other players may do other things, but our fundamental design criteria is if we don't believe you can pay us back, we will not lend you money. That is what's enshrined in our design notion of no late fees, no gimmicks, no tricks. We will not benefit if you cannot pay us back. Therefore, we'll only lend if you can.
Max, I understand the technological and cash flow advantage of buy now, pay later. My question is, what is the limit in use cases? So, an airline ticket can cost you a few $100s or a few $1,000s. I wonder what the point is where a firm says, you know what, we cannot do this, be it, another luxury item or another product category.
So one of the advantages of buy now, pay later to the consumer is that, and in particular with Affirm, again, we evaluate every transaction separately. So at every time when you choose to use Affirm, there is a chance we will tell you, we think you are overextending yourself. It is not financially healthy for you to make this transaction. Please either make a larger down payment, don't transact, find something cheaper. And so you will, or someone will, hear that every minute of the day, today, and on. We underwrite every single transaction. That's why our credit results have been as strong as they have been. That is part of the design, and that's why buy now, pay later, and Affirm in particular, is better than credit cards.
Max, 24 hours ago, we had Zach Perret, the Plaid CEO, on the show, and he talked about using AI in assessing creditworthiness and lending. I wondered if you could explain to our audience what Affirm is doing with AI in its decisions on buy now, pay later.
I'll nerd out for a couple of seconds because I think it's important. So AI is now this overused umbrella term that means everything to everybody. So there's a couple of different flavors of machine intelligence. Let's call it something neutral. There's machine learning, which has been around for quite some time, and it is statistical learning, all sorts of different terms. But what it means is using statistical analysis and more sophisticated mathematical techniques to assess ability to repay by looking at past trends and data. And we use that and have been using it since inception. That's where a lot of our underwriting advantage comes from. The other more currently excitable part of machine intelligence is generative AI, things like Dolly and OpenAI and chatbots. We do not use that to assess your credit because we don't think the technology is mature enough, and frankly, it wasn't built for that. We do use it for exciting things like developer productivity, making more data available internally faster through chat interfaces. So there's lots and lots to gain from various flavors of machine intelligence, but each tool is for a different job, and we've been using it since the day we started the company.
Max, you think about technology, you think about what the PayPal mafia has done when it comes to payments online, and you have Elon Musk trying to expand on this everything app. What role is social media going to be playing in payments ultimately, and how long will it take to get there?
I think social media has already emerged as kind of the next shopping format. We're all sort of swiping up on Instagram and TikTok and on and on. And we see a beautiful thing worn by a beautiful person. Sometimes we want to buy it. I think, again, not to sort of toot my own horn too much, Affirm brings certainty and sense of control and lack of gimmicks and fees into a situation that is sped up. When you're tapping to buy something on your social media environment, you're not thinking very hard about what financial tool you're going to use, but you do want that peace of mind. So picking Affirm will help you, will keep you protected. We are seeing a huge percentage of interaction with computers and with phones in particular shift to these bite-sized social media modalities, and that's just a new normal.
Talk to us about competition. This idea of Apple Pay Later. You are also partnered with large tech companies yourself, like Amazon, but Apple's move into the buy now, pay later space. How much of an impact could that have on you in the future?
You know, for the moment, we're all taking share from credit cards and perhaps even more fundamentally cash. The online e-commerce in the US alone is nearing $1 trillion, if I remember correctly. Offline is 4 times that size. The penetration into that entire thing is sub 1% if you take the totality, and sub 5% if you look at just e-commerce. And so for the moment, most buy now, pay later players are not exactly bumping into each other in the hallways trying to convince that last consumer. There's lots and lots and lots of greenfield before competition matters more than just converting folks from credit cards onto Affirm. And we're making pretty good progress there.
Max, really quick, I do want you to reflect again on your PayPal days and the idea of turning X into a place of transactional e-commerce. Do you see it as a reality?
You know, don't ever put anything past Elon. I think he has proven time and time again that he can achieve crazy things. I do think that the Everything app worked really well in a place and a time in a different country. I don't think US consumer is looking for a version of a 10-cent product.